As you can see here, there's Wanderlei. It's all going mental. Wanderlei's pushed back. He's got his boxing gloves on in a fist fight now, and then look at this here now. What? Boom! Uppercut down, out, cold. And he ain't moving. I mean, that is a bad knockout, and then the action still carries on. I say action, I mean the madness, the melee, the brawl, the violence, whatever you want to call it.
Welcome back, fight fans. Today we've got a wild update that has the MMA world buzzing. Wanderlei Silva, one of the most iconic names in UFC history, is back in the spotlight, but for all the wrong reasons. At an amateur boxing event, Silva was brutally knocked out, leaving fans stunned and heartbroken. For a man who's made a living off of epic battles within the confines of the cage, watching him go down like this has people wondering if he ever should have put on his gloves again. Wanderlei Silva is not only remembered for his battles, but also his hothead and that iconic beef with Chael Sonnen. The back and forth between those two still lives rent-free in fans' minds, proving how big Silva's name is in the sport. And known for his ferocious style and willingness to brawl with anyone, Silva always brought excitement.
You are now. You are now. Stop. You are now.
Please stop.
I can't let you get close. Can you hear my? Stop.
Michael Bisping, never one to mince words, had his own opinion on Silva's knockout. He said that there is more to the story here than people think, citing the way Silva has made his career decisions to bring us to this point. Bisping says that certain fighters don't know when to quit, and Silva might have been one of them.
I saw reports online that he missed weight by 40 pounds, okay? And if that wasn't bad enough, then he's headbutting the guy multiple times in the fight. Here, have a look at this. I mean, you can't blame his people or his crowd for being pissed off. Watch this here. Boom! I mean, that's as clear as day. That's a nasty headbutt. And that wasn't just one headbutt, there was multiple. There was a lot. So he was taking the piss.
Bisping went so far as to refer to the knockout as deserved, stating it was karma biting on him on the backside. His words sting apparently for Silva's supporters, who view him as a legend worthy of respect. But Bisping stood his ground. Silva has been involved in messy situations previously, and this was just another consequence of those actions.
You know, if you ask me, because of the steroids, and then, of course, in this boxing fight, he kind of got what he deserved. So, obviously, there's two sides to every story. Fabrizio Verdum, he was there, he was in his corner, and he had a totally different account. But we saw it play out there. We saw Wanderlei Silva headbutting his opponent. He then gets disqualified, and all hits the fan.
And if that wasn't enough, Bisping poured more fuel on the fire by describing the entire incident as an embarrassment. He said it was unfortunate that a fighter who used to dominate the Pride ring and the UFC cage with a fear is now reduced to fighting in low-level shows and getting pounded. To Bisping, it was a tragic fall from grace, one that ruined the invincible reputation Silva had cultivated.
But even still, I didn't enjoy seeing a former MMA legend stepping in the boxing ring. Yeah, okay, he headbutted. Yeah, he cheated. Yeah, he missed weight. So he probably deserves it. But it was sad to see a former MMA icon getting knocked out like that so viciously in like a subpar boxing league at 49 years old.
Wanderlei himself intervened then to soothe the storm with a report on his health. Although the fans were happy to receive the report from himself, the report wasn't reassuring. He confirmed that he had undergone treatment, but describing the injuries the way he did left people appalled. Rather than reassurance, it evoked even more alarm that perhaps Silva pushed his body far too hard.
Olha como tá meu olho, mas como eu tô com muita dor de cabeça, eu vou realizar novos exames aqui em Curitiba para poder identificar o que, se eu tive alguma lesão mais grave na cabeça ou não. E esse foi o estrago causado ontem, falei. Obrigado, pessoal, pela torcida, obrigado por todas as mensagens. Realmente vocês são maravilhosos. É muito bom poder contar com os amigos nessas horas, tá? Valeu, pessoal.
Meanwhile, on the same weekend, another soap-like narrative ignited fire, this time between Magomed Ankalaev and Alex Pereira. Their encounter was anything but cordial. Pereira, normally fond of not speaking and instead having his fighting speak volumes, surprised fans with his bashing of Ankalaev directly. He did not even attempt to hide his disdain, cutting through the pleasantries and jumping straight into insults.
Давайте сделаем это в ринге. Зачем говорить пустые слова?
Ele falou, cara, na verdade a gente vai lutar no dia 4 de outubro, a gente não tem que trocar palavras mais.
Mas eu não falei nada, ele sempre falou. Eu nunca falei nada, ele sempre falou. E agora quando chegou frente a frente é um cuzão.
Chael Sonnen immediately analyzed what happened. According to him, Pereira's surprise trash talk was far from random. Sonnen went on to say that there were things simmering under the surface, and Pereira had simply reached his limit. He suggested that Ankalaev's behavior over the past created this tension, and Pereira just lost it. It was surprising, particularly because Pereira isn't typically the man to throw words. Sonnen was adamant there was more history here than everyone knew.
Here's the story. Story is, Pereira comes in for a workout at the PI. Ankalaev hides in a room until Pereira was done. Ankalaev is going to come in the room, he's going to do his own workout. He sees Pereira and his team are in there, and he hides in a different room until he sees that Pereira is gone, and then he comes out.
Things took a turn for the worse when Pereira confronted Ankalaev head-on and called him out for being too afraid to step up. He even went so far as to call him out for posting Twitter trash talk, but not talking and taking the same attitude in person. Pereira's bravado was appalling, but Ankalaev did not take it well. Furious, he walked off rather than remaining to fight words. The unresolved tension at that moment spoke volumes to fans about one thing: this fight just became a whole lot personal, and the dynamic is flipped into bad blood.
We don't do this spontaneously. We don't just do it at any time. We do it at an agreed upon time. We wait. We hold those emotions back until the referee says go. And I'm glad that it happened this way. It should not have happened a different way. And neither guy should be explaining themselves. They should be maintaining that their position was the correct position, which it was.
Chael Sonnen put another twist on the table by highlighting that Ankalaev was frustrated about more than just the trash talk. Sonnen described some of the tension as being caused by a language barrier, making it more difficult for Ankalaev to deal with Pereira's trash talk seamlessly. This clash of cultures and communication further fueled the fire, and things got even more intense. For Sonnen, it wasn't all about insults. It was about two starkly different personalities clashing in a high-pressure spotlight.
I'm only sharing for you, and I reversed those roles. I would have done what Babalu did. If I came in with my Talta and I saw that my opponent was there, he had gotten there first, I would have waited. And so when I hear this, because see, this really upset Ankalaev, but you've got a little bit of an issue. You've got an issue, and it's kind of interesting. Neither speaks English, at least not perfectly. So you got Pereira, who speaks Portuguese, but he tells this story in English. You then have Ankalaev, who doesn't pretend that he has an understanding of English. He has an interpreter, but the interpreter's first language is not English. So you end up with this confusion.
MMA Guru also weighed in with his own opinion, stating that this whole scenario has now changed the narrative. What was previously viewed as merely another business battle, something to resolve rankings and competition, has now turned into something significantly more personal. As Guru put it, this is no longer simply about who's superior inside the cage. This is a feud fueled by frustration, disrespect, and now outright bad blood. Fans love it because it adds intensity, but also makes the fight way more unpredictable.
On the come-up was Desanya. And that's how you knew he was mad. If he just mentioned Desanya, all of a sudden, you knew he was mad. And that's all you got from him. And now all of a sudden, we've got Alex Pereira going off for multiple minutes on end about what he dislikes about Ankalaev. This is a real bad blood matchup, and if it wasn't at the start, this is what it's turned into.
Chael Sonnen later circled back and actually defended Ankalaev in the situation. He argued that what Pereira called cowardice wasn't really fear, but rather a cultural form of politeness. Sonnen analyzed how not all fighters are brought up in the same environment, and what appears to be backing down could be being respectful in his culture. It was a fascinating spin because Sonnen generally feeds off stirring the pot, but this time, he oddly gave Ankalaev the benefit of the doubt.
And we show up early and they're in there, we don't come in the room. We could, but we don't. It seems impolite. It seems they have the room, they were here first. That isn't out of a fear. And let's say that they went over in practice. Daniel goes over the 11 o'clock hour. Something's going on. Something keeps him. He's got something to show the team. Whatever it is, where practice would go over, we don't come in and say it's our time. We understand. There's some give and take. We don't want held to that standard either. Though we officially have the time from 11 to 1, we don't want held to that standard. If something spills over, there's give and take.
Most analysts throughout the fight game feel that this intense exchange is the reason why Alex Pereira subsequently confessed during an interview that he's keen to be as dominant as he can be it in his next bout. Trash talk isn't Pereira's go-to weapon, but following this battle with Ankalaev, it's apparent that he's upped his game effectively and differently. He discussed needing to prove a point rather than solely win. It's the type of mentality that can make a fighter's best self shine or lead them to take reckless risks in the cage.
You know, I'm going to do my best, and I'm going to do everything I can to be feeling extra well and super well on that night, to be able to impose my rhythm, impose my game plan, and come out with the win.
Another Brazilian fighter, Carlos Prates, defended Pereira vigorously after these remarks. He averred that he has every confidence that Alex possesses the weapons to knock out Ankalaev if he wants to be aggressive. For Prates, this isn't simply about backing a fellow countryman, it's about acknowledging the insane knockout ability Pereira has consistently displayed. When he lands clean, few fighters can weather it.
You know, he got a break on his career. You know, he saw all his mistakes, you know, and fixed everything, and now I think he's gonna step on the cage and gonna knock Ankalaev out.
Johnny Walker, though, had another take. While joining Ankalaev's side of the argument in the grand scheme, he confessed something that shook the debate. Walker stated Pereira definitely can win if he chooses to fight more aggressively and be willing to take risks. He acknowledged Pereira's killer power and unpredictability where credit was due. This honest opinion reflected that although Walker is backing Ankalaev, he realizes Pereira is not someone to be messed with. Fans appreciated the candor because it was exactly how close and thrilling this fight actually had the potential of being.
Ankalaev very smart, right? And he take his time. He never rush. And he build his winning by step, you know? But I believe that if Pereira put a little bit more, you know, be a little bit more aggressive, because Pereira also, he doesn't come like rushing people. I think the difference in that fight, who's gonna have more advantage, who take more risk, you know, a little bit more risk.
If you're interested in staying up to date on every turn and twist in the world of combat sports, be sure to subscribe and tune in here. You'll find all the fight news you'll ever require, straight and uncut.